Hello everybody, welcome to Chow Time. I am Spike Spencer, and this is my kitchen, my show. Today, we're going to be working on roux. I call this Scooby roux. Anyway, it's really just a show to allow me to do Scooby voices all day. All right, my wife hates that. I love Scooby-Doo. Okay, so there you go, take that. A roux. What is a roux? A roux is a thickening agent. It is like half flour and half butter or an oil of some kind. So you could go with a roux that would be butter and flour, or you could do oil and flour. All sorts of different ways we can do this. We're just going to play with it a little bit. I'm going to start with the basic roux, which is about a, let's go with this. We got a teaspoon of butter, and we're going to go about the same amount of flour. So what I would do is I just scoop out some flour and go, how much? That's about right. Does that look right? Sure, why not? Throw it in there and mix it up. You mix it all up, mix it all up. That's what we're doing. We're mixing it up. Mix up the roux. So what's happening is we're going to mix the roux, the flour and the butter, and it gets this kind of almost sandy texture, kind of, or it's just like a like wet sand, like there. That's about what we're talking about right there. That's roux. In the simplest form, a roux is that, and at this point, it is a white roux, blonde roux, a new roux. It is ready to go with, let's say, milk or chicken broth. If you were to go with milk, now you've got the basic of a cream gravy. And that would go great in the South with, biscuits and gravy and all that. And you'll add all kinds of flavors. You throw some sausage in there and mix it all up. And let me show you what happens. I'm going to do a white one here. Now, I've done this before on my my mom's favorite egg lop. I pour a little bit of milk in there, and we start moving around and warm it up. As it warms up, the funny thing about roux is it's going to thicken as it warms up. So this, which is very wet and runny, is about to thicken up very quickly as it heats up. Like there, boom, that fast. See how that is? How nice. Okay, so I can keep going with that. Add a little bit of milk as we go. So this is the basis for, I want to say, I could be talking out of my ass here, guys, but bechamel starts this way. I'm trying to remember if that's the way I did it last time. I'm not going to say hollandaise because obviously that's egg yolks. I've been cooking for a while today, so I'm kind of like, what is this? But you just keep it moving, and there'll be lumps and whatnot, but you just keep working those out, and it will get thicker and thicker and thicker and thicker. And this is all I did for the egg lop video that you can watch now. I highly recommend you watch that video because you take this, you add some eggs and a little seasoning, and put it on toast, and it's wonderful, wonderful. I just love it. And that's what's happening here. See, now it's thickening up again, and it'll keep going for a while. So I can keep that happening, keep this working, and now what I've got is a nice white gravy, and now you add all your flavorings in here, and that all came from that roux. Now let me do something else here. Let's go to another one. I'm going to make yours a veloute. So I'm going to put this on the side here. That's a nice little grab. I don't know if this is going to be very picturesque, so I probably won't be taking a lot of pictures of it, but I want to show you the differences. What's the difference between a roux and a slurry? So, for example, in Asian cooking, so a roux is a very southern thing. You think of roux, most of the time you think of a gumbo, and we're going to do a dark roux in a minute. But let's say I wanted to do a different one. Let's say I want to do a velouté. Let's do that here. We'll do that. But the slurry is going to go in at the end. So if I were to take, let's say, for example, I had some arrowroot. Arrowroot, cornstarch, potato starch, tapioca starch maybe. But you add like take a spoonful of that, add a little water, make a little slurry, and you put it in at the end, and it's going to thicken when it boils. So just like that was thickening as it boiled, the milk went from a very, very thin situation to, ready to rock and roll. Well, we have the same situation here. That's about right. Maybe a little bit more. That's fine. Okay, so same thing we just did with the white roux. We're going to do the same thing here, only we're going to go, instead of having milk, so have that nice creamy situation. Okay, look at that's it. That's a roux. We're going to add chicken broth. And most chicken broths at the store, not very good, I'm just letting you know. But here, add a little bit at a time. This will thicken up. And as it thickens up, this is like the base for, depending on how thick you can get it, this would be like the base for like a chicken pot pie or something along that line. Look at that. That's how fast. Look at that. It's already thickening up nicely. I'm going to add a little more. You see what I'm talking about. And you could do a chicken a la king. Again, the kind of the gravy idea of having a gravy on over toast, like the egg glop. Maybe I'll do a chicken a la king. That'd be a fun episode, right? But this is a velouté, which is a great base for so much different food. And it's full of flavor. And of course, you're going to, depending on the flavor of your chicken broth, how much seasoning is in there, that's, like I'm just doing the base roux stuff today. I don't want to go crazy with it, but just give you ideas of where it can go. And again, as it warms up and it thickens, there's no real, well, there is science and art to this, obviously, but look at what's happening here. See how nice and thick that's getting? And all I'm doing is putting it on the heat. And if it gets too thick, you go, oh, take it off the heat, add a little more liquid, and then get back and forth. You kind of play with it, and literally it's about the same oil to flour ratio. And this is gluten-free flour I'm using here, and it's working just fine. But the gluten-free, sometimes you might have to add some different things depending on what you're doing. But it doesn't really matter for this. It's thickening up really nicely. I think there's some nice starches in there. That is a velouté that you can use, like I said, chicken a la king. You can use this as a base for so many things. You could use this as a base for soup. Always a good base. That's like using the roux for gumbo. Here we go. Let's clean that off. Put that over here. And now, let's talk about gumbo roux. Because when you think of roux, you think of gumbo for the most part. I mean, obviously, roux is the base for so much stuff, so many sauces, etc. But let's talk, so that's a blonde roux, is what we're talking about here. Let's talk about a dark roux. I am a gumbo aficionado. I love gumbo. I always try gumbos everywhere, and I still, I say mine is the best gumbo. Everybody says their gumbo is the best gumbo. And that's like a rite of passage in the South, I guess, if you're close to New Orleans. I grew up in Houston, born and raised there, and that has almost no flavor whatsoever. I mean, a little bit, but add a little salt and you're good to go. So the roux matter for a gumbo. So if I'm going to do a gumbo roux, you've got to take time. Classic roux, it takes like 20 minutes. You have to sit here and just stir. Two different variations. One that I love to do is straight from Alton Brown. Shout out to Alton Brown, my man. Love ya. Cool. It is taking the roux. Again, I take a cup of oil or bacon grease or whatever I'm using and a cup of flour. And I mix that in to it's a nice slurry, and I put it in a pot and I put it in the oven at 350. And every 30 minutes, I open it up and I mix it up. And then I put it back in for another 30 minutes. That usually takes a couple hours, 2.5, depending on what I'm using, because I want to get it dark. My roux, I wanted to get it almost to the point where it's burning. It's because if you overcook a roux and you get black specks in the roux, it's done. For me, that's almost like there's this little magic window right in between there that has a depth of flavor for me that I just absolutely love. For example, Papados has a great deep roux seafood gumbo. That's what I go for. Now, a way to do that, you can also toast the flour in a dry pan and get it a dark brown and then do the roux. That's one option. So there's the one in the oven. There's the regular option of standing here for 20 minutes, doing the thing. Or we're going to do something a little different. We are going to take some oil and we're going to take some flour. We're going to mix that up. And we're going to do, I did this, it was funny, I did this when I was in Australia. And I was, what was I doing? I was in my kitchen. What was I doing? Duh. Actually, I'm going to need more because this is going to turn pretty quick. This is going to be a pretty good amount of roux. You'll be surprised at how far this roux will go when you are, when you're working with it. You start like that 1 cup of roux and 1 cup of flour, and you mix that up, put it all together. I have a big pot because then I add all my Trinity and all my stuff, and it just thickens up real fast. So you got to add broth, mix, broth, mix, until it gets to the consistency you're looking for. So this one's going to be interesting. Hopefully this one's going to work out really well because I've done it before. But I actually saw this on an episode of Binging with Babish. Another shout out to an awesome guy who I've never met, but I think you're awesome. Let's get it all the way. I want to make sure that the whole bottom is here. Okay, cool. A little more. Okay. Notice how I'm not measuring it. I'm just kind of eyeballing it. You're going to be fine. Now, I've got a nice heat going over here. I'm going to crank that heat to high. And they did this. I'm going to do a 5-minute roux. Now, if you want to get that roux done, get moving, this is the way to do it. 5-minute roux. We're going to pop it on the heat. Now, as it starts to heat up, you are going to keep moving. Let's see if we make it a 5-minute roux. It may not even be a 5-minute roux. It may be faster than that. But as this heats up, there's this window where it's going to be like, oh my God, you better keep moving. And we're going to get it to a nice dark brown. So as the wheat there's no wheat in this, but as the flour starts to cook and turn darker, then you know you're in the right spot. We are going to be close here to the heat. Let's see. How hot do we get? Let's just bring it up. So as soon as it starts to bubble, then I know we're on the right track. This takes a few seconds to do what it needs to do, which means I get a chance to have a little sip of coffee. Yes, it's morning. There we go. Now we got some bubbles. You see the bubbles start to go. You get in there and stir, stir, stir. Keep stirring. This is a high bubbling. Oh, there it goes. Okay. Can you see this on the... Yeah, you can see it. See how much bubble is happening here? This is bubbly, bubbly, bubbly. This could fail miserably. I'm just saying. It's interesting. Because I've got... got some lump things. That's interesting. What is that? Oh, that came from the last one. Oh, that came off my... Okay. So I'm cooking with, all you saw me do these other roux. So I've got little bits of the other roux that I forgot to clean my spatula. So I got a little bit in there. That's fine. It doesn't matter. In a gumbo, everything's good. So, and did you know, a little bit of history here. If you didn't know, gumbo is the African word for okra. So gumbos, traditional gumbos in New Orleans, Cajun, Creole, that sort of thing, there's a lot of okra, and they use that as a thickening agent. I'm not a big fan of okra, to be honest with you, except my tune has changed because I grew okra out here, and it was growing like crazy. So I had a lot of fresh okra. So I was doing different things. I pan-fried some okra, which was awesome, and I did a little... kind of a deep fry, not really a deep fry, but I did a pan sear, more of a stir fry, like a wok kind of thing. Did that. Here we go. Some big chunks here. Get out of there. There we go. You get out. Get out. Get out of my room. Ut i my room. Here we go. Ut i my room, there, HOWDY. I know, that was all kinds of voices going everywhere. All right, okay, so we're getting into a light brown. You see how that's starting to be a light brown? And that took us, what, just a couple of minutes? I was talking about gumbo, and I do like pickled okra. So I pickled some myself. That's pretty good. It's pretty good. Not too bad. By the way, this is hot as hell, so be careful. If this gets on your skin is gone. Hot, 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 hot. We are getting a darker roux. And that's starting to, see, it's darkening up a little bit. So I got to keep it moving, keep it moving, keep it moving, because if I let this sit, we're at that point where it could burn pretty quickly. So I'm going to let this go a little bit more. And it's very, very hot, so it is not thickening up or anything, because obviously I don't have any liquid. If I add liquid to this, it is going to go, you'll hear that noise from blocks away. Here we go. It is getting darker and darker and darker. Look at that. How dark that is. Nice. I'm going to go a little bit longer, and then we'll call it. Because, like I say, I like to ride that edge, and we are getting on that edge, man. This is moving, moving, moving. And that is a 5-minute roux. Oh, it's getting that. Okay, it's getting that flavor. All right. I think that's about as far as I want to go with this. Yeah. Oh, gorgeous. Okay, turn this off. So this is a nice roux. Oh, and by the way, when you set the pan down, keep it moving because that pan is still hot. And if you go, okay, I'm done cooking and walk away, it's going to burn. All right, so we're moving, moving, moving. I'm going to put this in a bowl here. Oh, look at you. You're so gorgeous. I love it. All right. Nice. So that took us, what, 5 minutes? Not even 5 minutes. And you got this dark, rich roux right here. So let's go over what we've done today. The basics of roux are equal oil, equal flour. Put it together, mix, mix, mix. Set it on the heat. Let it go. Then you add your liquid slowly, a little bit at a time as it thickens up. So you can go with your cream sauce. You can go with your velouté. You could go with some other, like at this point, however dark you want it, that's where you go, you start adding your stuff. So for example, from this one here, this is where I would add my broth into my gumbo. And I would add a little bit at a time. But what I do with my gumbo, I put this straight out in the pot after I put it in the oven, and it's all hot. The gumbo looks like, the roux looks like this, a nice, deep, dark roux. And then I put it on the stove, and then I add my Trinity there. Mix that all up, and it's just this thick goo. Then I start adding my chicken broth. That'll be a whole other show sometimes, because that gets involved. It's a little more difficult than most of my videos, so there's that. So at this point, you have this roux for sure. You can make this roux ahead of time if you wanted to, and stick it in a jar, pop it in the fridge, and then have it good to go. So if you don't have time and you're like, oh, I need to get my roux done today, get it done to the point that you like, mix it up, put it in a jar, put it in the fridge, and then you're ready to go the next day for whatever it is. And this is great for gravies as well. This would be a deep, rich gravy. Add your, and we have a turkey. Add your turkey stock here. Mix that up. Add your chicken stock. I wouldn't go with seafood. Well, you can go with seafood here. Sure, why not? Whatever you want to do, give it a shot, mix it all up, and have fun with it. This is a roux. This is the Scooby roux. And it's very, very simple. So here we have our, again, the white roux with cream, milk, the velouté, lighter, but still going towards a different level there. And then, of course, our deep, dark roux. That is the basic. Remember, a roux is not a slurry. You can use water and flour as a slurry as well, but that would be water, not oil. That's the key right there. So remember that. So this is the Scooby Roux show, baby. Scooby Dooby Roux. And I hope you've enjoyed it. Check out some of the other videos, watch those now, and have fun, because this is chow time. Let's eat.